Om Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahe Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishvani Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So in the world around us, we have so many things, right? So many things. And some of them become our pursuits. You can't go for everything. There is so much to go after, right? Do you ever think like that? So many things are there. Suppose you wanted to go for everything one by one. You cannot have them. You cannot have them piecemeal. In an increment, you can't get everything. I used to have a friend when he came to America. So we asked him, so what is your life's dream? You know, just sometimes you ask your friends, 20, 22. I'm not in India anymore, I'm in America. In India, it's hard to find a girlfriend. In those days, of course, now it has changed a lot. So, in an engineering college, you have 500 boys and 5 girls. So the ratio denies you that. So he said, my dream is to have one girlfriend from each country of the world. He wanted to have one. That was his dream. He was very honest. Do you think he has fulfilled his dream? Now he's maybe close to 60. Not possible, no? You may want it. That capacity for desire is there. But can this be fulfilled? So we have a capacity for desire, right? Everybody has a capacity for desiring, even a man in a village. You don't have to be like a rich man to have a capacity. Your desires may be different depending on where you are in your life, in the world. So many of the things that, technically every American can become a president of America. But not everybody desires that. Right? So there are many, many desires which are possibility. We have a capacity. Now, when the desire is not fulfilled, what happens?
Suffering.
Namaste, please come. Oh, okay, well, you sit right next to the girl from Trieste. From Trieste. Look, it's a small world. I remember this because I tried to connect you to. She lives in America, but she's from Trieste. Okay. So when the desire is not fulfilled, we are frustrated, right? Then, see, if you are frustrated, is it the fault of the capacity for desiring? No. See, I was a librarian for some time in my life. I mean, not like a job or anything. I was made the librarian in the ashram. There were 5,000 books. If you want to become humble, you should be a librarian for a few days. Why? Because when you look at all those books, you find that you will need at least 5 or 6, 7 lifetimes to read them all. So that, suppose it makes me sad that, my God, I cannot finish reading all these books. I wish I could read them all. I like books. Is this a fault of the capacity to know? That you have a capacity for knowing? That's not wrong. You can know, you can read. But see, was it like the capacity for desire is equal to sadness? Is there a rule like that? There's no rule like that. Capacity for knowledge is equal to frustration, that there are a lot of things I will leave this planet without knowing. So technically you can know the botanical name of every plant, right? Suppose you spend your whole life in doing that. You can do that, you can know like an expert in botany. There's nobody like you, your knowledge of botany is the best. But there will be many other things that you would not be knowing, right? So you know all the flora, but you don't know the fauna. And a psychologist, for example. So they keep on doing more and more research in psychology, but there is no end to it because the universe is huge. And the human behavior, the complexities of human behavior are unfathomable. You cannot predict how, with all the models, the human may fail you. You may say, because her father was an alcoholic and mother was not available, therefore the son is like this. It's just a calculated guess, but the human beings are so many and their behavior is, that's why they call it not science, but quasi-science. It's like economics. So with an economic model, you can predict that this is when people will buy homes. Depression. The demand will not be there. People have no money. So they will not, the purchasing power is not there. But sometimes the whole village may decide, oh, everything is going to lose value except real estate. They may all invest in real estate. And then they failed the economist who predicted that. It happened. So you can't predict. And so there also you cannot know everything. So in physics, which actually includes our body, right? Because the body is a physical thing. See, when they want to test a medicine, they use pigs, no? They test that medicine first on a pig. What if it does something, allergy or something? Then you don't want to do that to a human being, you do it to a pig. Then suppose it works very well. Then what is the conclusion drawn? That if it works on a pig, it will work on a human being. That is the conclusion. If it works on a rat, it will work on me. Because the bodies are bodies. It's an organic living organism there. This is a living organism here. So therefore, otherwise you will have no medical science. Understand this, the ramifications of... So if whatever happens to an organic unit happens to me. And the same thing with physiology. The physiology works the same way. Wherever there's a prana in the body, you can expect a few things to be happening. Respiration is happening. Blood circulation requires prana. So whether the blood is circulating in a cow or circulating in me or in an elephant, the blood circulation is the same. Respiration is the same. The nose of an elephant may look different from mine. But the phenomena of respiration, he will breathe in and breathe out. In fact, even the trees, right? They just do the opposite. That's also important. Suppose they also said, oh, we will be like a human being. We also want to, for a change, we would like to breathe some oxygen, or we are tired of breathing in this carbon dioxide all the time. We want to change this. So suppose they decide, all the plants and trees together, they decide, from today, we are going to breathe in only oxygen. Did you ever, I mean, this is a madman talking, so you can excuse me, but think about it. Become a little mad. So what is life? What is this life? Honestly, so many bodies have come in the world and they have gone. The life goes on. See, people put on Facebook, life goes on, but they mean in a different sense. Like I had a very dear friend and she lost her husband to a disease. Then she put her Facebook cover page, life goes on. It went on, it is going on, which is nothing wrong. But look, this is how we use life goes on. But did you realize that the life keeps going after death also? Life in grass, life in a plant, little sapling. And life, so much life that they come breaking the earth through the stones. You will see all these. And then the same thing becomes a plant and the trees, big trees with so much. From a small little seed. We are also products of a seed. We just don't see all that seed going into the earth and the plant coming out. But it's a seed. What is that? So it's like, there is birth and then there is some sustenance. Everything lives for a while, doesn't immediately disappear. So there is something called sustenance. And then the things die away only to rejuvenate. Like if all the flowers which bloom, suppose they want to stay there, blooming all the time. There will be no new flowers, there will be the space for them. So it has to go. So is this so this life remains there. Yeah. After the death of the body, this life, how can this life will be what we are calling life? It cannot be bound to a vehicle of manifestation. So whatever is born changes at different speeds. What we call speed. Speed also is our observation, right? Motion. And then sustenance. And then, in fact, what we call death, yeah, if you look at it, what happens there? What happens there?
New birth.
Huh?
A new birth.
Can you say?
A new birth.
A new birth, yeah. Really, that's what it is. Because what is happening, it is all going in, back to where it came from. Like the body, right? It is made up of food. When the boy or the baby is born from the mother, that body is made up of the food that the mom ate, right? If you want to be direct about that. In fact, if you go back, the mom also was born because of the food her mom ate, right? So the body is born, it's a modification of food. See, sometimes when we employ these, like the Darwin's theory or so on, so they say what is the origin of life, yeah? Origin of a species. That was better. Life, what is the origin of life? Origin of species. So if species, then we say, okay, maybe, and let us say our human ancestors. So we can go for thousands of years. In that itself, we don't have to go to the monkey immediately. Monkey is long time ago, right? If it is true. That also a lot of people say it's just a theory. They are not sure about its application because there could have been a lot of natural upheavals, and because of that you cannot really say that this is how it happened. Nobody has ever seen a monkey turning into a human being. So suddenly there's a monkey and you looked at the monkey and in front of you, the monkey started turning into a human being. Have you ever seen? It can happen in the movies, right? In fact, it's a good idea for a director. If any of you want to make a movie, you say, okay, this is good. Suddenly in front of, the first thing they see on the screen, the monkey eating something and then everything changes into a human being. Yeah. I think we very easily accept the Darwinian conclusion because how our minds are, right? Maybe. So a lot of people also say with a great pride, my mind, you don't know how monkey is my mind. I hear this in the Yoga Sutra. So you have no idea how monkey is my mind. So that we're proud of the mind being monkey. Anyhow, so we may have a debate. We may not agree about, a monkey being our ancestor. But the food is our ancestor. Food is definitely our ancestor because it's an ancestor of the monkey also. And the mother monkey. And suppose they were the first, even a little organism, the first organism that ever was, lived on the land, definitely food, right? Modification of food. So when the body dies, where does it go? It goes back to food. And while living also, it lived on food. So it was born of food. Yeah? This is what we call meditation, okay? Don't think that meditation is something for which you have to always close your eyes. This is some kind of an open eye meditation. What is meditation? When you stay near Ishwara. Upa asana. Asana is a seat. Upa, near. So we are not in the knowledge, but we are close to the knowledge. And Ishvara his body is knowledge. The whole body is knowledge. That's for another talk maybe. But see, this is a proven that Annam Brahma. In New York City, there's a restaurant called Annam Brahma. Annam Brahmeti Vyajanat. Annadeva kalvimani bhutani jayante. Annena jatani jivanti. Annam prayantya visamvishanti. Tad vijignyasasva. Tad brahmeti. So, Taittiriya Upanishad. Very beautiful inquiry. So, Annadeva kalvimani bhutani jayante. All the beings here, Annadeva, they are all born from Annam. Annam is food. Oshadhibhyo Annam. And where does the Annam come from? From the plantation. Oshadhibhyo Annam. The only organisms on the earth who know how to make food are plants. So food is vegetarian. You can have a non-vegetarian meal. You can make a meal. Food is vegetarian. It's a fact. Oshadhibhyaha. From the plants. Oshadhibhyaha. Hi annam. Food is from the plants alone. In fact, Aushadhi, also medicine. So it's the same, all the medicines also are from the plants. Because what else, if the food is going to create a disorder, what else is going to solve it? So a wrong intake, a disproportionate intake of food will give you a disease, and then that's why homeopathy and other things, otherwise they won't work. In homeopathy, they use the same element as medicine, which created the problem in huge amounts. Oh, this is a problem due to sulfur. Then they'll give you very little sulfur, like a very diluted. And that solves the problem. Whether it's a placebo or not, I'm not saying. It can be a placebo effect. Anyway, that's another topic. So this is the Anna, Deva, Kalvimani, Bhutani, Jayante. All the beings are born from food. Anne, Najata, Nijivanti. And once they are born, they are sustained by the food, like our bodies. So they grow because of food. And then Annam Prayanti. They go back to Annam. They enter into Annam. Annam Prayanti Abhisamvishanti. They dissolve in that Annam. They go to food, they enter into food. And so Tad Vijignyasasva. Please try to know the cause of all the bodies in the world. Have we inquired into the life which becomes the body? So whatever you love, it exists, right? In Yoga Sutra, it is a really like earth-shattering way of looking things. We don't look at it that way because it can be very disconcerting. Yeah. But for example, there is a meditation called Vitarka. Vitarka Vichara Ananda Asmita Anugamat Samprajnataha. So what is Vitarka meditation? Recognizing that all the physical objects in this world, including my own physical body, is made up of the 5 elements. There is a space outside, space within, right? There is air outside. If it wasn't there, I won't be here, right? So breathing. And then fire out, fire within. Fire without, fire within. Without that fire, we cannot maintain ourselves, the body temperature. Absolute necessity for sustenance. So that fire outside sustains me. That air outside sustains me. The water outside sustains me. So the moment it becomes more and more tangible, you see the sustenance. So water, how can we live without water? Not one human being, the humanity, can the humanity live without water? They already talked what? The Third World War would be about water. So do we respect water? We respect ourselves a lot, humans, we are great and whatever, and our pursuits in life, and I want this, I want that, I want so many things before even if death is real, yeah, death is definitely going to be before that. Before I kick the bucket, I have a lot of things in my bucket list. Did you ever watch the movie, The Bucket List? It's a good movie, very good. So bucket list, everybody has a bucket list. And then, I want to do this. Can you do it without some water in that bucket? You can't. This just happened, okay? It wasn't planned. I don't know where these lines come from. Maybe Ishwara is so big. I didn't think about the water until I said bucket list. But can you do something? Can you have a bucket list without having some water in the bucket? Water in your bucket, water in the bucket that you like, and fall in love with, whatever. Honestly. So you love her, but do you love water? No. Then you are not fit for Vitarka meditation. What is the Vitarka meditation? Whatever you like or whatever you dislike, doesn't matter. It's all made up of the 5 elements. So before you like or dislike any of that, so fall in love with the space, okay? Fall in love with the air, fall in love with the water. That is a yogi. Everybody else is just a bhogi. They're all after glued to something, but not recognizing that what exists there are these 5 elements. And so this is called Shobhanadhyasa. This is the attachment. See, love is different. Suppose you loved her existence. Suppose she was like a wall, no consciousness in her. She had no consciousness, no awareness. Would you love her? Oh, forget it. You won't be able to love if there was no consciousness in you. The wall doesn't love anybody. Nobody loves the wall. Yeah? But the wall is not also sitting, nobody loves me. The wall is not doing that. If we had no awareness, you know what? You can't even be sad. This is a fact. You can't be sad if you were not aware first. Awareness is required. And you know what? The whole world is, if you look at it, like this wall. It doesn't know how to make you happy. It doesn't know how to make you sad. It can't. Doesn't know, etc. is also not required. It cannot make you happy. It doesn't have any intrinsic capacity to make you happy, nor it can make you sad. So where is the sadness or the happiness centered upon? It is me. A awareful being. That's where the sadness and the happiness are located. That's where they go. Because the body has no idea what is happy, what is unhappy. It doesn't even know what death is. Right? And the energy. Prana is energy. The prana has no awareness also. Prana doesn't know that I am doing the respiration. What if I stop breathing? What if you will be nowhere, Jose, you will be dead, you know that? Prana doesn't know that. It just keeps on breathing. That is the energy. But you know it is your prana. This is the prana that is keeping my body alive. For this to go on, I need to eat. I need to drink. I need to go get some fresh air. Get some sunshine. You know that. That's why we're doing yoga. So I want to do this asana practice because, for my physiology. And I want to do Ashtanga, right? Because there is vinyasa in it. So the breathing is very directly related to this. So I want to do Ashtanga. I don't want to do Iyengar. I don't want to do anything else. I want to do Ashtanga. Why? Because it has the best effect on my prana. Maybe a little bit on the mind too, because there is, or senses, because there is drishti. There is drishti in it, which is pratyahara. I tell you, some of these things are funny. I don't know if you see that. But anyhow, so why are you doing this? Because physiology is impacted. So we know prana, right? This prana that you know so very well. This prana doesn't know you. It doesn't know you. It doesn't know anybody. It just does what it does, as though completely programmed. Yeah, it will do respiration. It will circulate the blood. It will eliminate the unwanted food from the belly. It has its own mechanism, and in fact, it doesn't ask for your permission. Sir, should I inhale now? Should I exhale? Should inhalation should follow inhalation, should exhalation should follow the inhalation? Would you like me to do a little bit of retention in between? I'll be very happy to be at your service. It doesn't ask any of that, it just does it. Or you don't wake up in the morning and order your prana. Okay, keep on breathing, man. You did a great job tonight, you know. You kept on breathing. I'm so proud of you. And keep on doing it, okay? Because, you know, it knows what to do. You don't have to order it. Similarly, the eyes, you know. You don't say, wake up, okay, begin seeing now. You guys, you are rested enough, you know. But now I'm up, I'm awake. Now let's begin seeing. Like you are seeing me right now. Are you ordering? Okay, keep on seeing Arvind, okay? Don't stop, okay? Don't stop, don't go anywhere. You just look at him, okay? That's very... It's happening, okay? Seeing is not something you do. Seeing just happens. Where is the me in seeing? There is no me. Did you ever see? There's no me. There's only consciousness and the eyes. There is no me in it. Me walks in later. Me walks in later. The willing person. I will go for it. I like it. That's much later. See, this is how Ishwara is. There is no sorrow in seeing. There is no sorrow in hearing, because there is no me there yet. There is no me there. When you wake up, see, me would be, you go to a shop, right? And there are lots of things there. Eyes are seeing them. I say, I think I'm going to buy this. Why? I like it. Yeah. This happened after you saw. So what is, it's not the fault of Ishwara that there is sorrow there. Yeah, it's just natural. There was no sorrow until then. Until the will walked in. Where is the sorrow? Birds don't have that sorrow. Trees don't have that sorrow. Life is there. Life is there. Consciousness is there. Bubbling with activity. There is a power to think, power to desire, power to do. That is found even there. But this sorrow that we have is our own very special something. I mean, let's say our humanity. The brain may be the way we look at everything. So the me. Me is the beginning of sorrow. Me continuing is the continuance of sadness. Ending of me, not you have to end me, okay? Understanding of me is the end of sadness sometimes. Suppose we understood this me and never allowed it to walk back. Honestly, to live it is not required so much. So in the Gita, gunaha guneshu vartante iti manyante tattvavit. The knower of truth knows that the gunas are working in gunas. Legs walk without your doing anything. Hands do their things, eyes, ears. Mind also does its thinking without, in fact, if you tell him not to think one way, he doesn't listen to you, forget about. So mind does its thinking, it doesn't ask for your permission. So everything is happening here almost like on an autopilot. And suppose this me made a lot of conclusions about the world. Forget about the absolute reality, just the objective world about this world, it dies with you. It has no reality outside. So me and my likes, my dislikes, even my fears and sorrows, it's only in your mind. It's not there. So we die for a world that we carry here, not outside. Outside there is a world, but that is not the world that I know. Understand? Like I have a value for something. That is just my subjectivity. It could be due to how I grew up. It could be from the neighborhood it was picked up by me. Like they say a lot of our behavior is what? Social. So we learned it in childhood and from my mom, from my dad, and they also learned it. So we have, this is called parampara, okay? This is the parampara. I wouldn't go further because it's called Andha Parampara, as though the blind. We just go in that loop, in that tunnel. Humanity's brain is that tunnel. It's not ordinary. It's a huge thing. So to deny it completely also is a problem. We can't deny it. The me and the ragas and dveshas of the me, the likes and dislikes of the me, which then turn into what we call pleasure and pain. So that pleasure is just a shadow of this Ishwara. And as long as you go for that, this ananda that is there already, what we call life, what we call consciousness, it will be missed by us because I am looking for it there. So instead of looking for the sun, I'm satisfied with the reflection of it. I'm just searching there. And it's not going to be... So you are this sun, and you're looking for yourself in its reflection, as though something split there. So we're seeking in the shadow, we are seeking the sun. It will never be found, right? Because of a mistaken. A mistake cannot be a blessing. That's why the ideas of condemnation and so on. What is the original sin? This is this mistake. In this holiday season, me is the mistake. Me is the clouds that hides the sun. In fact, it hides it from me, okay? So it becomes a process of inquiry to see who we are. And then we don't have sometimes any strength for this inquiry because we are so much going for this raga and dvesha, and what we see, we like, we go. So we think there's nothing more than what I see, hear, touch, taste, and smell. This is it. What I can think about. That's all the world is. There's nothing more than that. So that eternal life, it remains hidden from me. Which is why I can think, which is why I can do all I do. So I'm enjoying that life, but never looking into it, and therefore it defies us, whatever is called happiness. So we live on. See, like suppose, do we have fears? Fear? What is your greatest fear?
Suppose that it's dead.
Death?
Suppose.
You suppose. Yeah, we really do. So that this supposition means we have never looked at it, right? We just keep living. We don't. Did you ever ask, what is this fear?
Yeah, I analyze it, but I mean, I cannot say in a certain way. I think it's totally related to that, with the impermanence and the ephemeral of the body and so on. But it's all related to that, I think.
There is a fear, right? This is the existential fear. Is it like the fear that I will come to an end? It's like a fear of the computer crashing. Like suppose you bought a very new MacBook,
Sure, it's more
and that
like,
this MacBook, because it was malfunctioning, then you're afraid, my God, I think it might crash sometime. So maybe I should just take all before it crashes. Let me back up, right? Because you don't want all that to. I mean, I don't know. I'm paraphrasing it for you. I really don't know what is it that you see. The thing is, but there is fear, no?
yes, of course.
Yeah. And then they try to. So then, and some of the fears, we can know why they are, right? Like when you go for a job, right? We all have applied for a job, and then we go for the job interview, and you don't know whether you will get it, yeah, because you don't know how the interview will go, and maybe the boss has already chosen who he wants to hire. Sometimes because based on our past experience, we know that, and then they will tell you, it's not what you know, it's who you know. Especially if you're from America, they will say, it's not what you know, it is about who you know, and you don't know anybody. You just have some knowledge, that's it, and you think that you have enough knowledge to get this job, and then you're afraid, nervous, right? So that is a fear, big fear. And then what happens? You get the job and you forget about all that fear. The fear that you experienced while going for that interview on that day, while you were sitting in front of this man, and you didn't know what he is going to say and how he will react. And then he gets angry and you don't know what to do because you want to pass the interview. You allow him to be the boss even before he has become your boss. All this fear. Suppose you marry somebody, right? So you are very happy that you're marrying this man, and he's also very happy that he's marrying you. You've been in love for a few years, right? But then on that day of the marriage, there is fear. I don't know. I never got married, so you guys have to tell me. Some of you might have. Is it true? Because you're making a huge commitment living together. You don't know how it's going to go. You don't know that. You consult the astrologer, all right, and you say, yeah. You think, oh, okay, you think it's going to work? See, this is how. I see you all, some of you know this, some of you don't. I want to, it's not an advertisement, okay? I just want to say that I advertise my classes regularly on the Facebook page, right? That this is the schedule for January, this is for February, and I get some students. And I've never advertised in the last 3-4 years. I have hardly ever written a line that, okay, available for astrology. But I have a crowd here. I don't know how to deal with it. My weekend is full. I don't need to advertise. So people are afraid of their future. That's why I get business. I know the fear. And my fears could be that my predictions can go wrong. That's my fear. I try my best. In fact, some of you you are nice to me, so you never come and tell me, Arvind, you were wrong. But I know I've been wrong many times. Okay. That doesn't mean that I don't do it properly and all that, but we don't know. So see, what is the answer to these fears? See, is it fear? You know what? See, suppose we are operating with this fear because it did not fly away. Whenever you became afraid, it did not fly away from your system, right? It's back in the system. So that means we are malfunctioning all the time, right? Suppose we are operating with this fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of darkness that we perhaps inherited in childhood. We were in a dark fear of falling, fear of authority. And we have all these fears. And we are operating every day with these fears, and we don't know We don't see it as a problem because we don't know that there is another way of being, right? And it's the same thing with sorrow. The frustrations add up. So there was frustration when I was a little kid about something. Mom is not around. Dad is not around. Did not get enough love and attention. Everyone, even the mom and dad didn't get love and attention, okay? They also had mom and dad and they didn't get it. So this is also parampara. So we know that even if a mom, it doesn't, and we all know that, oh, it's not because they didn't have the best of intentions for me, they did. But it's a human thing. A human being, in spite of wanting, may not be able to give you 100% of the attention that you wanted so badly because they have their own lives to live, like we have. So many people will become parents, but then are you able to, because you have a life of your own, your child is a part of that life. You cannot sacrifice your life for the sake of your kids. You can sacrifice a part of it. So therefore, no baby who is born in this world ever gets everything all right. So there are frustrations we don't even know about. That's what the psychologists, the Jungian psychologists will call the unconscious, frozen child is sitting in everyone. And then we are working it out when we are young. So everybody is processing that. So, if you thought that we were talking about something other than Ishwara Pranidhana, that's a mistake. This is Ishwara Pranidhana. Understanding Ishwara in our lives. So more and more this Ishvara becomes prominent. To that extent, the me in me will recede. Finally, it will find that the existence of me was nothing except the existence of this consciousness, the existence of the mind, existence of the prana, existence of the body, existence of the world. And what about me? Well, you are not non-existent or anything. You are that consciousness. That I am limited is a wrong conclusion because there is no limitation there in anything. Understand? The me. So first there is a brain, and in that brain or whatever you call mind, there is a thought, me. It's much, much later than this creation. And it is much, much later than the power to know, power to desire, power to do. And then the me walks in and messes it all up and says, why me? Why me? And then I have to do Bhakti of Ishwara. And then construct an Ishwara. And then you call that Pranidhana. That going to the temple and putting your head down and following that, which is not wrong if you understand that Ishvara there is the same, this real one. It's not a uncle sitting in heaven. If you do Ishwara Pranidhana to an Ishwar, a Jose sitting in heaven, then we are doomed, I tell you, because he doesn't even know us. Just like the body doesn't know you, the prana doesn't know you. You think, yeah, God will take care of me. Yeah, as if he has nothing else to do. So he is not, so the only thing we can understand, he is not for anybody, nor he is against anybody. So if we do bhakti, this bhakti, what does it do? It gives a bath to this Mr. Me, okay? It washes away the me and all the persuasions of this me, raga here, dvesha here, I love this, I hate this, and then becomes happy and sad because of one's. And this is whirling with a huge speed. Whatever you like, what is that? It just disappears when you go to sleep. And suppose you move this universe of yours with great speed, then there's nothing to like, nothing, it only is. And that's who you are, because you is. If you tell me you are not there, then I will understand that. But if you are, you are always one with that Ishwara. If you don't want me to say you are Ishwara, I would love to say you are Ishwara, but that's a great resistance for that. So then you can say you are one with this Ishwara, okay? Not this construct of our thoughts. The real, because that is the real. This is all there. It has as though become everything. Because when you see with your eyes, it becomes everything that you see. If you don't see, it just is. It is. Like you are, world is. But it may not be what you see or what you conclude. It is. And it will remain after I die or go to sleep. It remains the way it is. But so the suffering is due to our wrong conclusion, I tell you. So in front of me is something, and then that's not a problem. But then I begin concluding. Then in that, what is the first conclusion? I am limited. Because of the body, because of the prana, because of the mind. That conclusion you need not make. Suppose you didn't make, you are infinite. It's not an idea, okay? Because that consciousness alone becomes the thinking. Now that thinking can, suppose the thinking says you are limitless. That also doesn't cut anything. It doesn't do anything. That's another idea. It's an idea fighting with the idea, I'm limited. So then people can create an idea of limitless Ishwara, God, limitless, and start worshipping it. That is disastrous because it has no being in the world. Okay, what has the being is this Ishwara that we discovered just now. So what is bhakti? Remaining in this Ishwara to the extent you can. Just stay there. Stay there because that's who you are. And on this side of me, there is nothing worthwhile. It's only pain and suffering and death. So what should we do? Should I just renounce the world and go to the forest and merge into this Ishvara? No, you don't have to do it. It's just while you are here in the world, while we are allowing our brain to take over and do things that we do, because we cannot stop the flow of this, because there is a rush. It's happening with a rush. So I am a changeless reality who is very, very intimately identified with this vehicle which is constantly changing and operating in the world which is also changing. So while I remain here, may I remain in touch with this Ishvara. Okay? And don't allow this. So, and question this change. So in this changing Maya, I remain glued to Ishvara. That is also bhakti. Because nothing in this changing, whirling reality as though what we call behavioral reality. Because you have to behave, you relate to your husband, your wife, your brother, your sister. That also you cannot deny, we have to do this. But then understanding these relationships and not allowing any of this to really bother me totally, because you know, the me is the one who is bothered, okay? The me is the one who's bothered. So Ishwara Pranidhana. I don't know, there's so much that can be said. We skipped all the definitions and talked. We could have gone to Yoga Sutra, and Samadhi comes from Ishwara Pranidhana, and it's one of the niyamas, and it is also first sutra of chapter 2, and you could say how without this nothing is possible, Bhakti. There is so much we can say. Maybe we can have Ishwara Pranidhana too, another talk on Ishwara Pranidhana. We should stop here. I think it's time. Yeah. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you. You want to ask some questions?
So Bhakti is like a brainwash.
Bhakti is giving yourself a bath, yeah. That's what I said, I think. So Bhakti is seeing in everything that is around me, seeing Ishvara in that. Bhakti in seeing a bhaga, a part of Ishvara in everything. In fact, there is no parts in Ishvara, so you cannot see parts of Ishvara because Ishvara is a partless whole. So wherever you see, you want to, instead of seeing the peculiarity or particularity, which is what you notice anyway with our brain, try to see the commonality. Like existence is there, consciousness is there. Yeah, see the space there, see the time there, see the object there, space, time, and object. See the Prakriti there, see the Purusha there. See everywhere Purusha and Prakriti. If you can't just see Purusha everywhere, try to see Purusha Prakriti there. And it's there. It's a fact. So instead of having so many things, you just see two things, Purusha and Prakriti. Or you can call it Ishvara, like Shiva and Parvati. So wherever you see Shiva and Parvati. Then you get married to Shiva. And then, so what we do, we are seeing things from a conclusion of limitedness, and we are observing another limited something. And when we are looking at the limited multiplicity of this world, limited, we forget to see the limitless there, right there, which is Ishvara. So limited you see, and the limitless is there very much, giving life to this limited. But that life you don't see, right? That life is eternal life there. So you see a Jesus Christ, and you see Jesus, and you see Jesus's crucifixion, but you don't see the what did he do after 3 days? Resurrected. So you see crucifixion, why don't you see resurrection? Resurrection is the eternal life. So when we die to this idea of time, space, and causation, which is what limits our view, then all that is there is only limitless reality. And that is what you are. And that's what anybody is, because if you are real, yes, the real. Really. And that is the only way of being in which there is no fear. Because otherwise there will always be fear. Vitiyad vai bhayam bhavati. Fear is always of a second thing. Not of a second thing, but you consider different from you. See, there are so many different things, like a flower, it doesn't frighten you. But wherever you create separation, like the world can swallow me. The time can devour me. So because time is different from me. And this world is different from me because I am the body, So then there will always be fear. Because it's a fact that the body is, this body cannot be us, okay, because it doesn't even know what we are. We are the conscious being. You cannot. So therefore, but this identification, then there is going to be fear. Because what I do, see, there is nothing wrong. We identify, right? We are sitting here identified. You came here identified. I'm talking identified. So this is a reality within a. But if we think this is the only reality, the behavioral or the empirical, what I see, world is, that's it. Then there is never going to be any end of our fears. Never. Frightened, we will continue because we do not know, we have no familiarity with the seat of fearlessness, which is this eternal life. If it was not there, none of us, if I speak that way, none of us have any existence without Ishwara. And Ishwara we discount. Then where is the question of fearlessness? Where is the question of freedom from sorrow? There is nothing. But if you are there, the moment you are with Ishwara, there is no fear. The moment you separate yourself from Ishwara, there is no possibility of ending the fear. So then, remain a bhakta. Remain a bhakta, eternally glued to the feet of Vishnu. Okay, that's how the bhaktas talk like that. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. They think they are the only bhaktas. That's the problem. See, if you are a bhakta, you are a bhakta. Why don't you just sit in the corner and do your bhakti? Neither I will have a problem with you, nor you will have a problem with me, because you're a bhakti yoga, bhakti Vedanta person. You do your bhakti. Let this argumentation and knowledge and this dry intellectualization, you leave it to me. This is my forte, okay? This is not your area, sir. You do bhakti, okay? You please do bhakti that you preach. No, bhakti is the best path. You are not a bhakta. Why? Because you are not doing Hare Rama. I love that. I go to a Vishnu temple and I put my head there, but you cannot. But when he does it, it doesn't free that bhakti, does not free that man from fear. It has been centuries. It doesn't free him from sorrow. It doesn't free him from anxieties. If he was a real devotee of Krishna, he would have tried to understand what Krishna is saying. I'm speaking that. I don't know. This is not mine. It's all from there. So you're a bhakta of Krishna, but you don't care for what Krishna has said. And when you translate the Gita, you skip all the the problematic verses. You just leave them alone, because if suppose you really went there to translate, suppose he said Shiva there somewhere. Or Maheshwara, that is Shiva. We don't want to do that. Just let's move on to the next verse. This is hardly bhakti, sir. This is not bhakti. Bhakti means there is nothing else for you except Krishna. That means bhakti. So when we are always in knowledge or try to remain with knowledge, that is bhakti. Even Lord Krishna says in the Gita, this is a bhakti. A jignasu, a person who wants to know me, is my devotee. A person who wants money is my devotee. A person who prays to me in distress, he is also my bhakta. That is also bhakti. Then a person who wants to know me, jignasu, who has a desire to know me, he is also my bhakta. And the person who knows me, jnani, well, not to talk of him, he is also my bhakta, because once you know Ishwara, you don't stop being bhakta. Oh yeah, I know Ishwara. So then after that, there is no bhakti. There is no such thing. Then the bhakti alone remains. Or you can say bhakti culminates into knowledge, or knowledge culminates into bhakti. Because suppose you know this, really we know, suppose you and I, we understand what we just discussed totally, then you're always a bhakta. Why? Because the me is a reality, and the me will come back to interfere. And when it comes, you bhakta. So you save yourself because of your bhakti. Otherwise, the me takes over in a hurry. It's like a rush. Rajas, rush. Right? So you will remain in Krishna, Sattva. Because you understand there is nothing here that can ever free me from fear. There's nothing here that can ever take my sorrows away. Nothing. In fact, this is a factory churning out responses like fear and sorrow, fear and sorrow. And all that is here is Krishna. What I like is Krishna. What I do not like also is Krishna. Unfortunately, I tell you, that's how the world is. There's only one thing here. In that, we divide it into raga and dvesha, sukha and dukkha, and life and death. We do that like the night and day. So is it really real? It's not really real. They're interdependent. And in fact, the sun, without the sun, there can be no night and day. And in the sun, there is no night. There's only day. It's only light. And without the sun, you can't have the phenomena of day and night. And in the sun, there is no night. So we cannot understand, we can't blame that sun for the night. Can't. But we do that. Who does that? The me does it. A wrong conclusion. This is Ishwara Pranidhana, okay? I'm very serious. This is, what is Pranidhana? Remaining in Ishwara. Ishwara is my everything. That is the meaning of the word Pranidhana. Prakarashena Nidhana. He is the abode of compassion. He is the abode of freedom from sorrow. He is the abode of sorrow-freeness. He is the abode of fearlessness. Abhayam pratishtham vindate. The Upanishad. That when you know it, you come in touch with the seat of fearlessness. Abhayam. No bhaya, no fear. You know where is the seat of fearlessness? That is Ishvara. You can say yourself, the self of me.
So I understand this idea about separation and fear caused by separation. How I understand Ishvara will help. But if we apply this to this example that you gave, say a job interview, we're fearing, how would that Ishvara help in a situation like that? It's difficult to understand.
No, the understanding of Ishvara, suppose you took it to the job interview, all that you heard, right? That is Ishvara. How you understand is Ishvara, because there may be a Ishvara, but what really counts is your understanding of Ishvara. And suppose with that you went to the job interview. Now there are two choices. You can get the job, you may not get the job, right? And if you understand Ishvara, you take both outcomes in your stride, because you never decide what will happen. You can only decide to do your best. Understand? And you can just say, and suppose you go back and say to yourself, oh, I didn't do my best. And you're guilty because you didn't do your best. You could have done better. Every time this is there. Whenever we do something, we always look back in hindsight. You find, oh, I could have done better. I could have gained more information about the company. I should have tried to know. It was not enough what I knew. I should have tried to know somebody. And all that. But the thing is, you do your best on that day. In hindsight, there is no doing your best. With your knowledge, with your skills, with your powers, you have some power to think, you have some power to desire, you have some power to do a few things, and you thought your best, you desired your best, you did your best. Afterwards, what happens is Ishvara. Okay, because you don't control that. Nobody in humanity at any century, thousands of years ago, has controlled what will happen, nor they will control many years later, even now it is the same. So my favorite example recently has been that if we could control the outcome, then Argentina would have won the World Cup. Because there was nobody better than Lionel Messi. But on that day, he messed up, okay? So what can you do? Or maybe Portugal would have won the World Cup. Cristiano Ronaldo, right? So, you know what happened? They were shouting actually that night in front of his hotel room. They didn't let the guy sleep because they thought if he doesn't sleep, he won't be able to play his best tomorrow, and maybe we have a chance to beat Portugal. It happened. He could not do what he's capable of on that day. So understand, when it comes to our physical existence, the body is limited, prana is limited, sensory capacities are limited, thought capacity is limited, our knowledge is limited. Everything about you is limited except you. And therefore, when this limited goes and acts, what you want may happen, may not happen. So Ishwara Pranidhana is accepting gladly what happened. But see, even in that acceptance, there should be no frustration. Okay? Why? Because frustration is also due to lack of understanding. Why? Because still you have three choices. You can do again. You may choose not to do again. And you may do something different. So kartum, akartum, anyatha va kartum shakyam. This is all in our hands. I can do, I need not do, I can do something differently. But after you have done, after you have put your best foot forward, what happens as a result of your action has never been your domain, because that is decided by a lot of things. So much is happening here. And when all those variables are factored in, there is a certain outcome that doesn't depend on what you like, what you don't like. It is what it is. Okay? It is neither for you nor against you. It is a result of many variables going in. Like the physical laws are there, physiological laws are there, psychology is at work. Law of karma, what you call, is at work. Everything is there, and then something happens, and you, what are you worried about? I didn't get the job. Okay, you didn't get the job. What can you do? Is it a rule that you should always get the job just because you want it? And you know what? This is an example from last time. Maybe we will add another sweet note. So you go to a restaurant, right? Anokhi Garden early in the morning, or Santosha, or I don't. Now I have to name everyone because they say advertising. Anyway, you go to one of these yogi restaurants and you order. And what do you order? You ordered pancake, vegan pancake. And then you are talking to your friends. See you. And then suddenly you call the waiter. Excuse me. Can I change my order? Have you done this? No, you never changed the order? So tell me what Ishwara can do then. He will say, sorry sir, your dish is already ready already. That's what he will say. Right? Sorry sir, it's too late. That happens too. Oh, okay. Stop it.